What's up, man?
What's going on?
How
What's
you
going
doing?
on?
It's
I'm
good to see you, brother.
It's always good to see you,
I know,
bro.
man. Let's sit down, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm really excited about this interview,
Thank
man.
you for having me, bro.
You know what I'm saying? The performance, I just want to say, that was an amazing performance. How do you feel after everything?
I feel great. I feel on top of the world right now.
I know you do, man. You're a month out from the release of your album, The Day I Fell in Love.
Yep.
Explain to the audience that probably just looked at the live performance, why did you pick So Far as a song to perform? Why are you so comfortable with that?
So Far as a song that I picked because that's just the song that seems the most mainstream sounding, the most radio, least like polarizing song. Because the whole album is pretty experimental, and that song is like a really good song that just sounds like it just works as a single.
And it does work. I think it's something that a lot of people could gravitate to. The guitar strings is something that really just pulled me in off the rip.
Thank you.
And that's all you, right, on production, right?
Yep, that's all me.
Yeah, man. But congratulations on your project.
Thank you, bro.
This is now album what? Where are you now? Five.
Five.
You're in deep now, bro.
My fifth independent album. Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's bittersweet. Because it's good to say, it's cool to say, like, I've done this myself. I've recorded everything in my own studio, produced most of my own beats. I've engineered everything myself. But the bitter side of it is that, like, I'm ready for it to stop being independent albums.
Okay.
And for it to start being, like, represented albums, whether it's under a label or some sort of management.
I was about to say, like
that, yeah.
An actual label and stuff. Exactly. Like, so you're actually considering stuff like that now?
Yes. I know exactly. Like, I always get the question of, oh, do you want to be independent or do you want to be signed? I have decided, like, of course, if I can be independent, like, and it works, I'll just stick with that. But if I go label route, I really want to sign to Love Renaissance, LVRN. So that's the label with Summer Walker, Black. This artist named Sad Boy. She's popping off now. That's a label that really fits my aesthetic. So I just gotta figure out how to get their attention.
Those artists you named actually all fit your sound.
Exactly.
So that would be the perfect destination for you.
Yeah.
Because I remember last time, this isn't the first time that we sat down with each other.
Yeah.
But I remember the last time you were talking about being an independent artist and the journey that it takes to get there. But ultimately, it's one of the strategies that we've seen, like the J. Cole's take, the Kendrick Lamar's, before they actually get to a signing day.
Yeah.
Because it helps garner a fan base, and once you garner that fan base, you're able to leverage yourself for when you're actually, about to sign.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that you're thinking about that now. We're celebrating your album, bro. 16 tracks is the first thing I want to talk about.
All right.
16 tracks. We'll get into more of my favorite songs. We'll dissect some of those songs as well. But why did you choose 16 tracks? And before you answer that, because for the audience, the era that we're in, we're used to a little bit shorter projects.
Yeah.
16 tracks, I think that's like an hour, maybe hours and change.
I think it's an hour, 3 minutes.
Hour, 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of music.
It is.
Why did you choose that many songs?
So it wasn't specific. Like, I didn't go into it like, I want to make 16 songs. I actually, fun fact, I try to make my albums shorter. But it's a story. All my albums are stories. And to really fully flesh out the story, it just happened to be those 16 songs. Like, I just had stuff to say. And, I am aware that, like, we're getting into an age where songs are getting shorter and shorter, which I did practice for a few of those songs on the album. But for the most part, it's just like, I'm an old head in my own head. I'm an old head. I'm an OG. So I like to have songs that have a bridge and a couple verses, like something that gives it some sort of variation rather than just hook, verse, hook, and then get out of there. But yeah, it wasn't intentionally 16. It just happened to be that. Yeah.
And it's crazy. That means you're really writing all the time. You're 5 albums in. I mean, usually people take breaks, years in between to really let life happen.
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of life has been happening for you to be able to make these tracks and these projects, because they're very in-depth. That's what I really love about your artistry. You're able to really tap into yourself and give us variations of yourself. Based off of what the theme is for this album, this one, falling in love, falling out of love. Where do you think you'll go afterwards? Like, what do you think is next for you when you're talking about like a project? Since you've gotten so in depth with us and given us so much content thus far.
I kind of would like to. It really depends on where life takes me. I do a lot of love music. That is my brand. But depending on how this album goes, like I do want to take some time away to just try to get all my ducks in a row. So that by the time it's time for me to drop the next thing, I have more accolades and I've met more people that can help me out. So by the time the next album comes, if it's still about being heartbroken, that's really what it is. But
That's the bag.
I don't want to like set myself out to be like, hey, I want to make an album about this.
Yeah.
That the whole reason that like I make the music that I make now is just because I told myself a while ago I just want to make the music that comes to me. Like I just let life happen and just sing and rap about my life and what is a constant in my real life is, you know, these heartbreaks and these girlfriends and falling in love and falling out of love. It's a real thing and it's something that everybody can relate to.
I know we all can.
Yeah.
And that's why I really love this album because it's very relatable. And I think people are going to gravitate to that as well and be able to really identify with the same struggles that you may be going through. I mean, you're really taking relationships, the battles between men and women and personifying it, putting it on tracks. And that's really hard to do. Like I said, we're going to get more into breakdown of some of the tracks, my favorite songs. But I really wanted to discuss your move from the DMV to ATL because I know that was one of the things that you had said for a long time that you wanted to do. How have you been adjusting now that you have moved back home?
So what I will say is I'm very glad that I moved back to Atlanta. It's been a challenge. It still is a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge for a while because, you know, we got to get everything set up and all of that. But probably the best decision I've made in a while. It's so much happening for me since I have moved from the DMV to Atlanta. Just being back home in general is just super nice. I get to hang out with all the friends that I grew up with. It's people I haven't seen since middle school that I'm hanging out with now, and people that we know from Hampton, because everybody from Hampton moved to Atlanta.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Either that or Texas.
Yeah, or Texas. So it's like, that's real good to get to still hang out with the people that I've met along the way. But still working some stuff out. It's been a challenge in the sense that, like, money is different down there, like in both good ways and bad ways. Atlanta has an aesthetic, therefore, like,
what's the aesthetic?
It's like BBLs and and like hookah bars and lounges and like that stuff is everywhere, but that's the aesthetic of Atlanta. So therefore, the money reflects that. So, for example, I spent $22 on some wings, on a 6-piece of wing last week. And I just like,
that's a lot.
I'm sorry, what? It's some chill spots, but it's like a lot of spots have this like.
So Atlanta's become more Hollywood now. Yeah. That's what it seems like. Because it's like all the who's, if you want to get into the industry, Atlanta is like a stop that you have to go.
Exactly.
You know? What about the creativity? What's some of the differences you see between the creativity of the DMV and of Atlanta?
So the DMV has like a lot of pockets of creativity. Like the people in my circle are really creative, like, and have been for a long time. Like my boy Azan Jair or Junie, or literally anybody that went to Springbrook with us. Are all really super creative, but it's just it's kind of few and far between finding these pockets up here, whereas in Atlanta, every single person that I have met is creative in a different way. Like my boy Mad Mod makes entirely different music from Kai. Kai makes entirely different music from Warhol. Warhol makes way different music from CEO Trail. But all of these people kind of come together and create magic. And it's like every single person that I meet is brought into like these rooms. And I was like, wow, this person's he makes crazy beats. My boy Dez, he's a photographer for DJ Drama. He's crazy with the camera. Like, so everybody's kind of, and not to say that it's not up here, but it's more condensed down there. It's like just
You can tell.
everybody.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's something we was talking about a little bit off camera, but the amount of artists that happen here is the comparison to Atlanta. It's just really there is no comparison. I mean, you have just so much more access. It seems like even though they're both cities, but DMV is more so like just kind of finding its way
Yeah.
onto that track of being industry, like an industry state or an
Yeah.
industry city type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just wonder, how can we make changes to elevate DMV music? But to see that you're successful in Atlanta, you seem like you're in a comfortable space. I think that's the most important thing because for your artistry, that's how it's going to blossom. Have you seen that type of change in yourself? Not only like within your music, but personally as well. Do you feel like you're more at home?
Yes, it in a good way and in a bad way. So there's an analogy I keep bringing up. So when I lived in Atlanta, I skated, right? I was a skater, but all I could do was ollie. When I moved up here, I met a whole bunch of other different skaters, and then they were all better than me, which forced me to get better at skating. Now, being that I moved back to Atlanta, let's use that same analogy, but use it for popularity with music. Up here, I was kind of the famous one out of my, like, jokingly famous one out of my group of friends, and now that I'm back in Atlanta, it's like I'm now the least famous person, but that means that all I have is opportunity to grow and learn. Like, I've learned so much from everybody that I just hang around on a daily basis. That's just like there's nothing but growth just happening around me and just being in the right place at the right time. So I think that's a big thing for me. Just being the least popular person in the room and just seeing how everything works.
Because you're forced to grow at that point.
I'm literally it's uncomfortable, of course.
It's very uncomfortable.
Like, there's been a bunch of like celebrities that have walked into rooms and dapped everybody else but me.
Yeah.
But then they hear one of the songs that I'm on with Kai or Mod or whatever, and they're like, "Who's this?" And they're like, "The dude you ain't dap up," and then they're like. That's happened a few times, but it's like when people notice you more, they see your face more, they get comfortable with you. That's how you build these relationships.
Yeah. So it seems like your talent is speaking for itself too.
Yeah.
It seems like if you didn't, it's almost easy to overlook someone.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't have that that type of level of artistry.
Exactly. And I would rather you overlook me and my music or my talent speaks for itself. Oh, who made this beat? Him over there. Damn, you make beats? Damn, you play guitar? Damn, you sing? Like, yeah, I do everything. Well, I mean, you didn't ask, but I'm not finna be like, "Hi, I'm Zay," and nah, like, you'll figure it out. Like, we hanging in the same. We gonna be in this room for the next 3 hours. Like, you gonna figure it out. So
I like that. So in terms of your skill, like from the last time that we sat down and have a conversation, how do you think you've improved, and in what areas? Like both production and just performance wise, like where do you think that you've made the most leap?
So I'll say, since we've like had our conversation, a lot has changed. Just like even when it comes down to guitar, I learned so much new stuff with guitar that I was like, oh, I got to put this on the day I fell in love. Learned so much with guitar, so much with mixing, so much with production, but also just writing, just being around the people. A lot of people take me out of my comfort zone. For example, Logan Woods, since I've been hanging out with her, like, yeah, she's on the last album too, but like we're like really close friends now. And it's like she does stuff that I'm just like, yo, I would have never thought to sing this like this or use these certain scale degrees. And it's like people force me to look at myself and dissect the way that I make my music and see, okay, how can I incorporate this? How can I do this instead? Which it's a beautiful thing when it comes to music, because there's always gonna be somebody better, and there's always gonna be things that you can learn. You're never gonna know everything, and I'm a know-it-all, and I'm like, I enjoy learning different perspectives and different techniques.
That's good, man. Yeah. So before we get into talking about the album, the structure of it, I want to know, it seems like just from listening to it that you're a bit of a lover boy.
I sure am.
You know, like, and it seems like you've fallen in and out of love quite a few times.
Yeah.
How much did your relationships have in cultivating this project?
100%.
100%.
100%. This album is like I said, it's my crash out album, but it's really just a culmination of like all the frustration from the past albums and the past girls I've been with. It's just like my like, where's my person? Like I have my person and then it just dissipates. And it's about like the actual breakup of a relationship. Like goes from being in love all the way to like, oh, now I'm sad that we broke up. Oh, and it's like, I really miss you. I'm gonna get you back.
It's like it's all the stages of love.
Yeah, and then it goes all the way to, wow, you really ain't shit. Like,
yeah.
I really, so, but 100%. Yeah.
And what's that? It's something that I was actually like talking to somebody about the other day, but like when an artist is able to capture that emotion, that pain, and put it on a record, what's that process like? I'm sure for like writers and stuff who are professionals like you are, it's not as hard as everyone thinks. But to me, who's someone that dabbles in music, knows like that's a different level of skill.
Yeah.
So like, can you explain that process for people that may not understand?
So for me, and it can be pretty hard for like people that do actually write this stuff. But for me, my thing is that I write it when it happens, like, or while instantly. It's on my mind. Yeah, like Ebony, a track on the album, I wrote that like a week after the breakup. Like that was like at my down bad. It's like, yo, like I miss you, I want you back. Like why did we, you know what I'm saying? So I write these things in real time, rather than like trying to write about something that hasn't necessarily happened yet or happened so long ago. It's like, no, I'm going to express my feelings right now. And something like a thing as men, especially as black men, we don't have a lot of, we're getting there now, but we don't have a lot of room to actually be able to express our emotions.
No, it doesn't seem like that
at all. And it's like with our friends, like I'll tell my homeboys, yo, I'm sad, I miss this person, and everybody, bro, man, stop being da-da-da-da-da. It's like, these are real emotions, and this is toxic to. So it's like, luckily I have Mayor and I have Logan Woods. They're the two people that I go to like when I vent. But other than that, like this is how I do that. It's not necessarily like, oh, I want to write a song about this over here or write a. It's just no, like I'm sad and I want to make a song, or I'm in love. I want to make a. I want this person to know how I feel about them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition to the album a little bit, man.
All right.
There was a couple tracks on here that I really like stood out to me, that I really wanted to talk to you about. The first being "Go Back Home" with Dominican Doll. You know, tell me about the process of creating that project, that particular song, and the collab with her.
Okay.
And like how that dynamic goes.
Got you. So Dominican Doll, who just changed her name to Maria Carmen, whose name was Mimo. So shout out to all three of those names, whichever one y'all want to look up. But she is a really dope singer from up here, from Silver Spring, Maryland. And one day I hit her up and was like, yo, like I like your stuff. Like if you want to pull up and work on some music. The first song we had recorded was it's a song called LTF on her EP that she dropped over the summer. And from there, we've kind of just been building our chemistry. I've been making a bunch of beats for her. She sends me voice notes all the time. Hey, can you do something like this? So knowing her sound now, after like a few months of hanging with her almost every day, I was like, you know what? I want to get you on the album, and I know exactly how I want this beat to sound. So I just used a lot of ethereal guitar sounds, backwards, reversed stuff. And I was just like, how do you like the beat? And I was nervous. I was like, she probably not gonna like the beat. She's like, this beat is so good. She's like, I'm coming over tomorrow to record it.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, man, cool. So we literally knocked that song out in a day.
Wow.
Yeah, that was cool.
Do you find it hard collabing with people? Like sometimes I know people have different processes. being able to pull out different aspects of artistry from people. Is that difficult for you? Do you have to find the right person, or can you really do it with anyone that you're in the studio with?
I say as long as you, it's easy as long as you are able to blend the two worlds together. So, for example, like I said, Kai Cash and CEO Trail, two entirely different artists who make entirely different types of music. But it's like their chemistry is good enough to where Kai knows what to sing to Trail. Trail knows how to rap on Kai's songs. You know what I'm saying? If they weren't able to like blend worlds well enough, it would sound like two people are just on a song together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And it's not, the chemistry isn't really there. So I think it's about knowing someone's sound before you even reach out to them because that's the thing, like when you're like underground, a lot of people will hit you up who have no idea what your music is, but they see you got a little bit of motion and they'll be like, yo, we got to do a song together. We got to do, and it's
like fast. You don't even make a connection yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I charge for stuff. Like we could do a song.
Yeah.
And plus like I rap and sing. So it's like, it ain't too much to, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you also have to match my brand if you want to do a song with me. Like it be dudes that like on some hood shit, some gangster shit.
Some real
and
trap
like,
stuff.
That's not me. Like I can rap and I can rap about that stuff easily, but it's not my brand because it's not my life. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you are able to come to that person's world a little bit, it makes it a lot easier.
Amen to that. There's another song on there with your boy Blaze that I really like. Where'd the Time Go?
Where'd the Time Go?
And you know, I really like that song because it's a different type of feel. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has a lot of pop elements. Still R&B, but you can tell it's like it may have a little bit of R&B, a little bit of like a sprinkle of house. You know what I'm saying? The pop feel.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about the creation of that song. Like,
so,
where were you like in that zone?
The creation of that song was actually really cool. So the album's probably about 2/3 done at this point. And I knew that I was about to be moving soon. So I've been hitting up Blazing for a while. Like, yo, we got to get a song. We had met already through our friend Jafar. But he's like, yeah, we got to do a song. We got to do a song. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to send you some stuff. And I finally sent something. And then he was like, it's cool, but I want to make something from scratch. So I'm nervous. I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, pull on up. Like, but he pulled up. He played the keys on that song.
Wow.
And we made the beat. And I was like, all right, this is definitely the beat we're going to have. So I'm like, I know what the topic is going to be because I have to fill in these particular spots in the story. So I was like, what if we made it like what's happening to our relationship type of song? Like, where are we going from here? What's wrong? Talk to me. Like, kind of like how So Far is. It's literally the same topic as So Far. And he was like, bet. And he immediately started singing the hook. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. And it took 2 days to do that song, but that's because we were like actually live playing all those instruments.
Wait, you're saying 2 days like that's a long time?
2 days. Well, it's fast, but it was. I think it felt long to me because after we finished half of the song, I was like, nah, this song is hard. We gotta finish the rest of it. So I was just like so eager. It was literally the very next day he pulled back up. Yeah. Like we skated, cause he skateboards as well. We skated and then we hit studio and finished it
straight
up.
like that.
Yeah, straight like that.
See, but it's interesting because like holding off another day, usually it's hard to recapture that same energy.
No.
But no,
it was
just seamless.
Immediate. Yeah.
Wow.
Literally like it's weird to think that it was 2 different days because it feels like it was all the same day. And I'm pretty sure that he probably feels the same way. It just was like, cause like I remember he did the bass line. He had to leave. So what I did was I cleaned up his bass line. And then I added like a verse version of the bass line. So as soon as he walked in the door, I hit play and he was like, you did all of it? Cause I did a bunch of other stuff too, like the drums and effects. And he's like, you did all of this? And I was like, yeah. And so I was like, but I'm thinking, I want to do a bridge. He was like, do a bridge. And I'm like, dang, what am I going to do for the bridge? So I played like whole different chords right in front of him. And he was like, that's it right there. I'm like, you sure? Because I didn't like it that much at first. So he's like, that's it right there. Record that, export it. That's the beat right there. So then he actually laid down the hook that he had sang the day before, and then we just went straight in. It took
That's crazy.
so fast.
When you find a person like that you can just bounce off of, like, and just have that chemistry, that's rare in itself. Like God really puts people together, you know, at certain times. Because I know if you just met somebody else who maybe wasn't as knowledgeable as Blasian was, that type of chemistry wouldn't be as seamless. You know, you would have some bumps in the roads, but to see that you guys already have that, like I'm excited for more songs from you two.
Yeah, no,
you guys have anything
super
planned?
excited. We definitely want to do more stuff together. We don't have anything planned at the moment, but like we were literally texting today, yesterday or something like that. So it's like we do plan on shooting a video for that song. I don't know when. We'll probably shoot it over the summer, and then we do want to do more stuff together, more new songs together.
That's cool. The thing I really love about this project is something I touched on a little bit earlier in this interview, but it really like gives you all the aspects of love. And I think this is your most personable project by far, because you're actually speaking on, I feel like from at least the tone of everything, you're speaking on real life pain that you've experienced. And one of the tracks I think does that extremely well is your track with Logan Woods, someone that we've already talked about. And that song in particular, Your World, I think was perfect because it's the back and forth between the male dynamic and the female dynamic and like what you're thinking about. And even on that song, it was very like, it's unique in a way because it's talking about you missing out on somebody you love. You both are in love with each other or have feelings for each other, but the other one finds somebody else, you know, and that process of moving on after, because the feelings just don't go away from either parties. And it's a very messy situation. Talk about that song in particular, because I think that one is probably the most unique because it has both of you guys bouncing stuff off of each other.
Yeah, that song is like, I made that song to be like my response to Best Part by Daniel Caesar and her.
Okay.
Because that song is like happy. It's in, we love each other. But mine is like, okay, what if I did that? But it's like, I missed out. You know what I'm saying? And as guys, I know women feel the same way, but I know as guys, most of us have that one person that we're just like, I really missed out on you. Whether it's a crush or an ex or whatever. Like for me, I know I have a lot of crushes that I'm just like, wow, I really should have said something. And then it's like you find out that she like you too, but way after the fact. Now she got a dude.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, if I wasn't so shy. That's why we did the bridge. What could happen if we try? Next time, just don't be so shy. Because it's like, if we as people weren't so shy to just tell each other how we feel because we're scared of like messing something up or, you know, how people will see us. It's like who knows, I could have been found my person, you know what I'm saying? But that song is just like really personal just because it's something that I experience a lot. And it's like, even with the breakup that this album is about, it's like, I wonder what would happen if I had said something differently. Like if I would have taken that extra step to put it all on the line, rather than just being the cordial, you know, amicable person. Like these things lead to like, you know, toxicity. Like after breakup, it's like, if I say something, then it leads to this and it leads to this. And now we're doing this. But it's like, what if I didn't try to be the mature one and actually said what I felt? But yeah.
So, because it seems like you learned a lot about yourself. So, you know, what did you think you learned about love throughout the process of this album? Because I'm sure you had to, like you said, you're writing stuff in real time. Yeah. It's like, what did you learn about yourself and love when it comes to these type of things?
Love is the most powerful emotion. Everything that we do is for love in one way or another. It doesn't have to be romantic love. It could be family. It could be friends. It could be a pet. But everything that we do, the reason why dudes, we want to run up all this money is to attract females, you know what I'm saying? To attract the ladies. And it's like, I want a girl to know that I can provide for her. I got strap on me because I want you to know I can protect you. I'm building up all this muscle and stuff because I want you to feel safe and secure around me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everything we do, like immediately after our own like survival, is love. And I remember I was telling somebody like, love is super dangerous because it can be something. It can be the very same thing that makes you the happiest person in the world, that also makes people like want to die. You know what I'm saying? That makes people super depressed. Make people actually do unalive themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a super, super strong emotion, and we as a society, especially this generation, we need to tap back in with that. Like Curtis Mayfield and them, they was tapped in. They was tapped in, but it's like we've gotten so far away from that because everything is money, cars, and all of this other stuff, which is cool, that's fun, but it's like we got to get back to that.
It's weird because during that Curtis Mayfield era, you know, they were not expressing their emotions.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like it's flipped. Men are now becoming more expressive and talking about how they feel. It's more acceptable today.
Exactly.
But in his era, it seems as though when they were cultivating the music, it was almost as if they were able to tap more into that emotion and lay it out on the line.
Exactly. Because they weren't able to do that outside of the music.
No.
Like,
so that was their only outlet.
Yeah. Because if you talk about love, if you talk about your feelings, it comes off as weak.
Yes.
And that's still true today, but we're getting to the point where it's like we're getting past that.
Yeah.
But even still today, like there's some people you tell, yo, I love you, like and you actually show them and and it's like they lose that interest because it's like you lost that mystique. You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I've noticed in real time. Like you lose interest in this person because it's like now you just fam because you did all of this. But it's like, bro, like no, like just because I'm in touch with my own emotions, just because I can express. Like we have this thing now where it's like dudes are sassy, and it's
the
like,
women be saying that, man.
and it's like y'all be saying we sassy just because
we're expressing ourselves.
I told you I don't like when you wear that when you go outside. Oh, y'all so sad. Nah, like bro, people can see your titties. Like,
and it's weird because they're the ones that wanted us to be more expressive, but as soon as they got it, it was like, you know,
be sassy.
Yeah. So, it's a cold world, man. It's a cold world. But it's actually a good transition because in talking about the pain of losing someone that you love, I think Heartbreak Interlude was something that captured that well. And, you know, trying to heal from different forms, you know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe not even finding out that you're in the right place to heal from. You're not getting the right energy from things. Like, what have you learned from that process, you know, and trying to heal from past relationships?
Basically what I was saying, like we were saying something off camera, Heartbroken Interlude is kind of just like me trying to tap in with, realizing that I am getting more tapped in with maturity as a black man. Because I say three things. I say I've been trying therapy to get my feelings in the open. I tried to get some clarity since we haven't spoken. I tried sexual healing and I kept getting ghosted. I tried to numb my feelings and my heart's still broken. I say those because it's like we don't really have that opportunity to do all of those things. Like therapy, of course, like black men need to go to therapy. Black men have a lot of pent up trauma. And even if it's not therapy, find somebody that you can talk to. For me, my therapy is Mare and Logan. Like me and Mare know every single thing about each other. Every single heartbreak, every single time we fall in love, every body we have, like we know every single thing about each other. So it's like, that's my therapy. Trying to get clarity, you know, getting input from other women, trying to get like more perspective just on what could have happened, what could I have done wrong in this situation, and how could I have fixed it. Because I'm not talking to you anymore because we broke up. So it's like I need to learn more rather than just being like, oh, you're in the wrong, I'm in the right. No, like what could I have done? And then I tried sexual healing. That's just me realizing like, yo, I really don't want to do that, bro. Like if I'm gonna be getting sexual healing, I want it to be from the person that I love. You know what I'm saying? You get to a point where you're kind of just over just smashing everybody. It's just like, I want to smash my person. So that's really all it is.
So you're still searching for that.
Yeah. That's really what it is.
And
I feel like we all are, right? Like
at a certain
until we get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately people want to just be loved. You know, they want that type of security. They don't want to feel like they're chasing somebody or feeling as if they're like lost in a love. You know, it's just about having somebody to bounce ideas off of, or somebody just to know, like, out of everybody, I can come back to this person, and she's gonna love me the way that I need to be loved. You know,
Love me the way that I love her.
Exactly. And I think that a lot of people, especially our generation and in younger generations, are afraid of love. Like they're afraid to open up themselves to that. And I think that's really is shaped by the entertainment industry. And I think music is one of the primary areas in which people are shaping their views on love. So it's refreshing to find a project like yours that's able to tap into so many different areas of love, because it shows these kids, people of our generation, even older people that maybe are struggling to still find love, that there is still a way to get to that. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like there is a level of transparency that you're able to tap into with this, which is kind of on the dangerous side, because, you know, going back to what I was saying with Still Searching, like that particular song, one of my favorite songs too. I think you're naming a lot of names on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's a dangerous game that you're playing.
It is.
And so it's like, how's the reaction been with that? As much as you can give. I don't want to get you in trouble.
So I will say this: everybody that I named on Still Searching is a real person.
Sheesh.
100% of those names are real people from my past, whether it's just been like a fling or like an actual ex, but they are all real people. Now, when I was doing that, I figured it was, you know, pretty petty, pretty toxic in a way.
And pause right quick. That's something I've learned about you.
Yeah.
You are a very petty person.
I can be very petty. Yeah.
You're a very petty person, more than they know. But continue, my bad.
So it's like, when I was making it, I was like, I really hope, like, because a lot of those people I don't have any sort of quarrel with, no beef with, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still on talking terms with a lot of those people. So I'm like, I hope they don't take this the wrong way. But at the same time, I'm just expressing what has actually happened. You know what I'm saying? So I assumed to like get like these berating DMs,
right?
Just like people blocking me off of hearing their name. Oh, he said he smashed me.
Yeah.
That was a secret, like not a secret, like, but So, but honestly, a lot of them have been super cool with it. They hit me up and be like, I heard my name. Like,
so it's had the opposite effect.
It's had the opposite effect from what I expected it to have. So I'm happy with that. I'm sure there's, you know, a few people that probably heard their name and probably did get offended.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, not enough to stop talking to me. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is still on talking terms.
Well, what are you looking for, man? Like, talk to the women right quick. Like, there's a shorty out there somewhere that's like, dang, I wonder what Zay is looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is something that you're looking for in a woman, man? That Zay Blaze can take out.
I just want a shorty that loves me the way I love her, that I can trust, and somebody that's not afraid to commit. Like, there's a lot of women that get fickle when things start to get real. I've noticed that too, and that is a lot of the frustration in my dating history. It's just like things will go really well, sometimes too fast, which that's the thing for girls. For us, it's like, I'm with it, cool.
Yeah.
But things will go really well, and then one day it's like no effort from her part, and it's like, yeah, things are just going too fast. I'm not ready for commitment. It's like, bro, what you mean? We locked in.
Right.
You know, you don't remember last week what we did? You don't remember, like, we locked in. What you talking about?
Yeah.
So it's like, just somebody that's not scared to
love.
To love, because we all scared. Don't get me wrong. Heartbreak sucks.
It does.
But it's like, find somebody that's on the same page as me, not too materialistic. Just fun to be around. I'm not like a always go to dinner dates type of guy. I like to do fun stuff, like let's go rock climbing or something. Like,
rock climbing is crazy.
Let's go to skating rink or something. Like, let's do something active, something funny.
Yeah.
Like if we go to a skating rink and I bust my ass, like, that's gonna be a way better memory.
It is.
Than you watching me eat a shrimp fettuccine alfredo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
something like that.
Like
yeah.
that's gonna be something that's gonna stay with you for longer. Like, dang, I remember he was trying to look all cool going backwards on the skates.
Yeah.
And he fell. He ran into that little kid, and it's like that's funny. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it is.
a
And
bonding
it sticks.
moment.
It sticks more. Like I feel like our generation in particular are very materialistic. Like we want to be at the Nobus. We want to be at the Roof Chris, really just for a picture.
That's fine. That's fine. Like Instagram has fed us into this like aesthetic of like lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. But I feel like a lot of people expect that from expect that from people who have regular jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like you want a rapper treatment from a dude that works
a 9 to 5.
A 9 to 5.
Who's coming home, he just wants to, you know what I'm saying, just spend some time with you.
And that's me, like, I don't care what we do. Like, we don't have to do all this fancy stuff. I love tricking when I love tricking if I got it and if we locked in. Like, I'm not tricking on somebody that's like,
no,
just to look good.
You gotta deserve it.
Yeah, like I gotta know like you actually like me for real.
Yeah.
But like I'd be wanting to come home and I'm just like, I just want to chill like with my person. Like my thing is like if I'm sitting on the couch reading comic books and you on the other side of the couch watching telenovelas or something, like that's a love language of mine. Just that we don't have to talk, we don't have to touch each other.
Just the presence.
The presence, that quality time. That's important to me. That's my main love language. Is we can literally just be in the same room and you could be like, are you having fun? I'm like, I'm having a great time. We ain't spoken 20 minutes, but I'm having fun. So yeah.
Okay, so getting into the last song I really wanted to touch on, that being Strangers. Personally, Strangers and Still Searching, those are the ones for me. They're the ones that I think it's just because the name dropping and Still Searching just like was like, oh snap. Like,
oh, he's doing it.
You know what I'm saying? But it's also the tempo. Like I feel like those are radio songs. Like they're not as slow because you do have a lot of slower paced songs on here. Really like tapping into the roots of soul. But like the Strangers is another one that follows along with that radio tempo. Where were you going with that one? Of course, you know, loving somebody in that you wish that they, you know, it fell out when you wish that you guys were strangers now because that captures the pure essence of of love. But where do you think about it, man? So
what I was trying to like get with that song, because my boy Sandman made that beat. And that was actually going to go on the deluxe. Fun fact. The song that was in place of that, it was this song called Made Your Bed with Junie. But I couldn't get that cleared. And I was mad because that actually fits with the story. But I remember Sandman sent me a beat and I recorded the song like 2 weeks before I had to upload it. And I was like, this fits perfectly. But I wanted to just capture like just a slightly dark tone, just to show like my somberness with like, I really wish I never met this person. Like I wanted to show like how hurt I am by this person, but not how hurt I am, but also how deep down, even though it's toxic, I want to hurt you, or I want you to be hurt as much as I'm hurt. Not like I want to hurt you, but like
facts. Facts.
I want you to hurt as much as I am. Like, on some like I didn't deserve what you did to me.
Yeah.
And just like I just really detest the thought of you, the fact that I am so heartbroken off of you. Like I wish I never met you. It's like Carl Thomas. I wish I never met her.
That's the scariest things that made me not want to fall in love with certain people.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't want to ruin what we had already cultivated as friends. Like what if we end up hating each other and we'll never be able to recapture those feelings beforehand? Yeah. It's almost like I ruined the relationship in its entirety at that point.
You don't want to do that.
No, like, I don't. Not at all.
It's the worst feeling. The worst feeling. And like the worst feeling is loving somebody and that love turning into hate. It's not fun because I am a lover boy. I'm very positive. I'm very fun to be around. I have love for everybody, but it's just the fear is like, what if all of this is just thrown away in the blink of an eye? Like where do we go from here? Like I don't want to spend the rest of this time disliking you. So it's like that's the thing with love. Like you need a lot of communication.
It's a lot
because you're never always gonna be on the same page.
Never.
You're gonna have some off days. She's gonna have some off days. But it takes communication, and also considering that other person.
And that's, I think, where people mess up a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot of emotional intelligence to, first of all, just communicate with another person, let alone express your feelings to them in a very thoughtful manner.
Yeah.
Because, you know, guys, like, we're very blatant. Like,
Yeah.
we'll say what's on our mind, and the girl's crying, you're like, what's going on? I'm just being who I am.
Yeah.
But I think going through the route that you've gone through, with all the relationships that you've had, I think that is what builds and creates a better man at the end of the day for your person. So I understand, like, it's a lot of pain, and people may be going through the same things and wondering, like, is there light on the other side? I mean, I think it is. I think you just have to really, really learn from all of your experiences so that you're able to, when that person comes and that opportunity comes, because they only come, you know, ever so often.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're
rare.
meeting a person that matches you every single time. But when that does come, you now have the gratitude and the wherewithal to really lock in and know what to do and what not to do to form that true relationship.
Yeah, and it takes self-awareness. You really have to know yourself, know your pitfalls and your strong points, so that you know what to work on. Like, for me, I've been known to be a very nonchalant person.
That's a lot of, I've noticed that. I know you claim Atlanta. That's a lot of DMV people. That's like our culture.
And it's like I made it like a goal to, like, you know, I don't want to be nonchalant. Like, I want to practice being verbally emotional, like tell somebody how I feel about it. Being able to affirm someone vocally rather than just like putting it in the music. Because my thing is always like, yeah, I'm nonchalant, but if you want to know how I feel about you, just listen to my
Listen
songs.
to the song.
Yeah, but it's like that's not enough.
Nah.
So it takes emotional intelligence and self-awareness to know where you can work on certain things, and also knowing that nobody's ever going to be perfect. But what really matters is someone knowing where they lack and being willing to work on that to be the perfect person for you. And that's something that I've seen before, and like being that I've seen it, it's like, wow, I can't go back to what I've been dealing with. Like, cause we're in this age of like, oh, that's just how I am. You're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my man can't deal with me, but that's on him. It's like, nah, if none of your dudes can put up with you,
there's a reason for that.
Yeah, like that's a you thing, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to be willing to look inward.
Yeah.
To get the result that you want, because we all want something from people that don't align with us.
Yes.
Like it, but you have to see what works and what doesn't work, and keep those red flags.
I think it's also a compromise.
It's a compromise
between both parties, because it's like you're really trying to find a balance. Yeah. Between each other's flaws and the things that you do like, you know? And I think that it's hard sometimes, because you have to be a patient person. And when you're not, there's a lot of like, okay, I'm just gonna go find something else, without really actually getting into the meat and potatoes of who that other person is. You know, it's a lot of patience. Real quick before, you know, because I'm gonna ready to wrap up the interview, what's your favorite song from the album? Is it something that's ever changing? Usually when I talk to artists, they usually say that.
It changes quite a bit. Yeah. But I feel like the constant for me is Strangers. It's just, that song is just so good. That beat is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like, I feel personally like I delivered really well on that song, just with the message, but also just my tone, the way I sing it, the way I, like, even the little background, like just me talking shit, like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's like a 10 out of 10 song. My second would probably be Hate You Now. That song, I was very like scared about that song, like going into it, cause I didn't go into it like with the thought of I want to make a rock song, but I was making the beat. I played the guitar chords or whatever, and I was like, I should make this into like some hard like rock. And then when I did that, I was like, okay, how am I gonna sing on this? And then I did it, and it came out really cool. And then I started listening to Tizo Touchdown after I made that song. So like a lot of people think I made that song based off of Tizo Touchdown. But it's like, nah, I made that song way before I even heard about him. But yeah, that would probably be my second song, just because the whole rock thing, and it's like, wow, I really executed that song. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to leave? What imprint do you want to leave people after they hear this project?
I just want people to hear, to know the story. I want people to know that like their steps in all of this. It's really like the stages of grief. You know, you lose someone, you have denial, you have anger, you have bargaining, and all of those things are in the album. It literally intentionally gives you all of those stages of grief, all the way to the outro, which is acceptance. Because I say, you've been confined to the space in my mind, but I swear I'll be fine, because I know I'll just forget you in time. It's like, yeah, I'm hurting right now, but like,
crazy,
I accept this. Like I'm at a point where I can like sit in it without trying to get you back, or without cussing you out, or without like convincing myself like, nah, this ain't real. She, you know what I'm saying? It's just, if there was a takeaway, it's just that life happens, bro. Like really, like we can do all of this mental gymnastics to either vindicate ourselves from blame. We can do all these things to convince ourselves that this thing is fine or whatever. But it's like, bro, sometimes life sucks, but we have to move on.
You gotta keep going.
No matter how bad things are, the only way to get through hell is to keep going.
Keep walking.
You can't, if you're going through hell, you can't stop. I don't know who said that, but if you're going through hell, you can't stop.
Can't stop.
Because you're just gonna stay there forever. So it's like, you gotta keep going.
Gotta keep
That's
going.
really what the takeaway from life is.
Well, Zay, let me tell you what, that is like the definition of growth and evolution, man. I appreciate you sitting down with me, brother.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're gonna lock in again.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on Phenomenal Radio. We'll see you next time, bro.